People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People7 on Twitter and YouTube, people are elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com, and my soaps can be located at Purple Butterfly Soaps, people.etsy.com. And here I have my oxhorn comb, and because of the nature of natural things, even though this is handmade and it passed the burn test, because, if you burn an oxhorn comb, I keep saying oxtail because that's one of my favorite foods. But if you burn it, like just a little spot on the edge, or in my case, I just, chose one of those times, it will smell like burnt hair. That is basically just the one way you will know for sure you're dealing with the real thing. Because plastic, it not only will not have that smell, but it will melt on you. This will not melt. But because it is carved by hand, so forth and so on, every now and then, even though this is very even and pretty well rounded, you got to make sure that you don't have, shall we say, scraggles. The way I do that, I just simply take a very thin nail file or emery board, and I do it myself. So you take it, you put it in there, and put it at an angle, and just go 1, 2, 3, and you're done. And then you just go to the next one. And that sounds like, a lot of work to do, especially when they're doing the product themselves. But what if you have a, one that was not quite done, basically to my standards. Oh, and take a puffy sponge or whatever and just wipe it off before you go on. Now, I'm going to show you this kind right here. I don't know if you can see it or not because, well, I don't know if I get that close. But if you can see it, there is one, there it is, that has a scuff. It's not a scuff per se. It is, anything in nature can have the possibility of having all the nature show through. In other words, it has a little scale on it from the natural process of the oxhorn itself, and that little scale can possibly cause, a snag or damage to your hair. So I just go ahead and go one direction and then the other direction, and then I buff it. Same thing I would do with one of my wood combs if it had that issue. But because of the way I'm doing this, when I get to the bottom, and I'm just going back and forth, any scales that would have been a problem are no longer going to be a problem. So then when I switch to my hair, just like oxtail is supposed to do, it gives you a smooth presentation that will not snag or tangle your hair, because that's exactly what it combats, is that snag and tangle you get from plastic. And another thing you will notice if you get a horn comb, whether it be a buffalo horn, an ox horn, cow horn, any skeletal horn, it could actually be ivory too, but, certain situations cause the ivory to not be available all over the world. So, we won't go there. But because of nature and all that, the way these combs are developed, it's a sustainable crop. In certain countries, like in England, they purposely grow buffalo and oxes that don't have horns, because that way people won't be tempted to post them for their horns, so forth and so on. These combs are made in the country where The meat would have been used for production anyway. That's where they get their beef. That's where they get their leather, so forth, so on. This is just a byproduct. So what they do is they take the horns from, the slaughterhouse or whatever after they're done with, turning it into food, and they make these combs out of them. And oxhorn and all those products have been around for centuries in Vietnamese and China and Nigeria. Basically everywhere they use these products, they have horn comb production because they're not going to throw that stuff out, and it's a very valuable resource for anybody that has had issues with their hair because it gets rid of static, it gets rid of tangles, it gets rid of scales and all that because it is a product that mimics nature, okay? Natural keratin bonds that come from, horns stay in the product, and then that will make your hair smoother because of the keratin, and it makes your hair tangle-free, so forth and so on. And as you can tell, that little bit of filing I did gives me an exceptionally smooth surface. And the one where, hold on, let me find it. I almost can't. Okay, there it is. The one where there was a little scale, where the horn actually lifted up, it's gone now. See that? Which means when I comb my hair with it, I don't have to worry about a snag or anything like that. And just because I'm anal that way, you can actually see the little teeny pieces that popped off. And that's fine, because if it's popped off of my emery board, that means it's not on the surface of my hair. So if there was potentially a problem, there isn't now. Now what I'm going to do is take this and just go across it a couple of times. That way, if there was any roughness, there isn't now. There we go. So then when I use this in my hair, I don't have to worry about snags, tangles, or anything. And because this is a horn comb, if I use it in my hair when it's 100% soaking wet, I don't have to worry about it absorbing moisture from the water, like with my wood comb, so forth, because even though this is, yes, a very natural product, like my wooden combs, this is of a different nature. This is along the scale of like a shell comb or, ivory or whatever, except for this is made from ox horn. You can also get cow horn, buffalo horn. If you get a horn comb, you got something that will not damage your hair. The only thing better than an ox horn comb would be a wooden comb. In fact, if you go by just my personal opinion, one ox horn comb is worth 2 wooden combs. And I use my wooden combs continuously. But if I'm doing some straight out detangling, my hair is totally wet, I'm going to go for this before I go for that one. So y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. I hope this has been helpful to you. I am People of the Purple Butterfly on Twitter and YouTube. People are elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com, and my soaps can be located at Purple Butterfly Soaps, people.etsy.com. Bye.